What's up, brother?
Hey, Tree, what's up?
Not much, man. I'm doing well. How are you doing on this fine morning?
I could be better.
I know that feeling, man.
First of all, I want to thank you for doing this for the channel.
Dude, thank you for having me on, brother. I appreciate it.
So this is the first question I ask everybody.
Absolutely, man.
How did you become a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
When I was a kid, I grew up in Pittsburgh, so
Okay.
I actually, I wanted to root for the local team, so that's how I more or less became a fan of the Steelers. Like my dad was a Steelers fan, like casual. My mom's not really a fan of sports, so it was more or less stuff of my own. I played the old video games back in the day. Like first game I really played was Madden '95, I think it was.
Okay.
I had it for the Genesis. The NHL games too. So I'm like a Pirates and Penguins fan too. But Pirates for better or worse, they're not good. That's how I got into the Steelers. Plus, they were good at the time. I mean, they were gunning for the AFC Championship game, Super Bowl. I mean, Neil O'Donnell happened, but
Yeah. I remember that.
It was I was mentioning it last night. It's like he threw those balls right to Larry Brown. I know it was probably a receiver miscommunication, but I'm like, 8-year-old me did not like that.
No.
I was a very sad boy.
Oh man. Yeah, but at least you saw that win a Super Bowl. Was that like with Ben Roethlisberger?
Yeah, they won too. I know they won in 2006. I know Seattle fans are still pissed about that. And then 2009 was probably the greatest match I'd ever seen because the final tiptoe catch by Santonio Holmes.
Yeah. But I'm sorry to bring this up to you, but the Packers did beat the.
I did. I mean, I forgot this too until I realized it. They were down. The Steelers were down 21-3 at one point. There was a pick six.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm still blaming Rashard Mendenhall for the fumble. I mean, it's just how.
Yeah,
but I mean, it was a good game. I mean, Green Bay played well, so I respect them for it.
And that was a great play by Clay Matthews.
The problem with Rashard Mendenhall, he always had fumbling issues. And
true.
Another fumbling happened. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. After that, it's just went downhill.
Yep. I think honestly,
how do you feel about your team this year?
I'm not sure. I know there's a lot of different pieces that have been added in. I know my biggest complaint was they had always stayed stale. They never really tried to experiment and challenge themselves and fix things. And honestly, this offseason, they fixed a lot of things. They overhauled their receiving core, their offensive line, quarterback room. So they've pretty much done what I've wanted them to do. The question is, how does everything mesh? Is Russell Wilson going to be enough for this team? He's more of a low-end starter right now. He's not like what he was in Seattle. But if he can at least step back to the two-headed monster and running back, I know Najee might be gone at the end of this year. But I know with the receiving core, I don't know what's going on with Ayuk. I mean, they may get him. They may end up getting someone like a Juju Smith-Schuster who just left the
he just got released by the
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that was a bad signing by New England. I mean, oof.
Yeah. I think they have to. $9 million is against the cap for them, but releasing.
Yep.
Juju.
Juju did not do well in New England. No. I mean, most of it. I mean, he had bad quarterback play, but he was never a number one wideout. So, I mean, maybe he does better as a number two somewhere. Maybe he goes back to Kansas City. I don't know. But I think the thing, too, with the offensive line as well, you have a lot of younger pieces that are starting to come in. Zach Frazier, center, he's going to be starting in now. Troy Fautanu, first-round pick, starting at right tackle. And Broderick Jones is moving to left. So you just need to see how those pieces meshes. I am not an Arthur Smith fan. I mean, I've been pretty vocal about that. And now he's our offensive coordinator. It's like, oh, God.
Yeah, you are.
I mean, the bar is very low. Matt Canada was not good. He ran a
No.
little too
Matt
long.
Canada was horrible.
He was. I mean, as I said, it was literally jet sweeps, runs up the gut, short passes. It's a seventh grade offense. It was bad.
So, are you more of a Russell Wilson fan, or are you Justin Fields?
Oh, I'm not. I don't know if I'm a fan of either. Because the thing with Fields is like he has his downsides, and we saw that yesterday with a lot of like holding onto the ball for too long, a lot of fumbles, and then like that was what got him out of Chicago. And I think the thing too, it's that, and then Wilson. I mean, he's not what he was. I mean, there was a sour taste with him in Denver, but I feel like that was more because Sean Payton didn't like him, and he just like, okay, get out. So I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know if I'm really a fan of either, but I just want to see how this year goes.
Okay. So how many wins do you think that Pittsburgh is going to have this year?
Oh, well, I mean, knowing the Steelers, it'll probably be 8 or 9 win minimum. It's just usually how it goes. It doesn't matter what happens. There's going to be a lot of weird stuff. It's just like the heat death of the earth, 9-win season. Doesn't matter. It's like, well, 9 wins. And then we get the 7th seed, and then we get our asses kicked in the first round. That's just how it goes. It is it's a limbo, but it's like, oh, great.
Yeah, it is. So, yeah, so how did you come up with the name for your channel? Urinatingtree?
Well, I wish I had this cool like story and backstory about it. It was me being an edgelord on Xbox Live when I was 15. I was thinking about gamer tags to use in the future, and it's like, you know, it'd be a funny name, Urinatingtree. It's like, you know, everyone needs to have a cool nickname back in the day. Like one of my brother's friends had an Xbox Live gamer tag called Tokyo Poop Stain. So it's just one of those things that like you just had to you had to be just like up the ante, and that's how it came to
be. And look at you now.
I mean, it's really crazy. Now it's people know it's a weird name for a sports channel. I get it, but it's just it's an Xbox Live gamer tag.
So I asked this question to Tom Amber, and what makes you to get so successful at the YouTube channel?
I mean, with YouTube, it's a lot of like grinding, more or less. I think it's combination of like finding a situation where there's a bit of a hole and a niche that needs to be filled. I think there's a little bit there of just trying to relate to an audience and trying just being yourself in some regards. There's an authenticity angle there. And I think some of it too is just like producing the best content you can. I think there's a lot of those 3 angles that come into it. Mm-hmm. And I know YouTube is a weird game, especially with how the algorithm shifts constantly. Yeah, I try not to really like cater to the algorithm because it's constantly ever changing. And I feel like it's just, you'd be losing your mind trying to cater to it all the time. Because I mean, a couple years ago, shorts were the big thing. Now shorts aren't really that big anymore. Now it's just like it's come into like it was going to long form content. Now it's paring back to much shorter content, you know, like around 5 to 10 minutes. Now it's just more or less, it just caters to the season's whims and flows. It goes with the wind. So, I mean, take, for example, look at someone like Brandon. I mean, he struggled for years, and it was a grind for him. And then just out of nowhere, like he says he never changed anything. And just like YouTube, like the algorithm goes to him, and now he's at a million subs now. And I'm really happy for the guy. Tom too, like it happened with him last year. Yeah. Like, I mean, like he was another guy grinded for years. He was like, you know, slowly growing, building, and then the algorithm blessed him.
Well, they told me that you helped it grow their channel.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my belief is always like, I know what it's like to struggle and deal with that stuff. So like, I always like giving a helping hand to people whenever I can. So that's why I try to get as many of these as I can, more or less, just because I know what it's like. It sucks. It's not fun. And like, I was in radio for a number of years,
Really?
And like I didn't succeed. Like I wanted to be an on-air talent, and I only got to board up because like either like they weren't looking for me in interviews, or I had to leave like where I was to like a small like area and develop, and I just didn't have the money to do it. So like and when I left like in 2016, I thought I was done. Like I mean, I technically failed. Like I didn't make it. I know radio is a brutal industry to get in. Like nobody leaves in Pittsburgh, but like that's why I kind of like try to help people whenever I can, just because I know what it's like. It sucks.
And I really admire you for that. Thank you so much.
Oh, dude, thank you for having me on, brother. I mean, I know a lot about you from Tom, like, so like I'm very familiar with who you are, brother.
Oh, really? Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man.
So, I want to talk about clickbait.
Yeah.
How do you guys all meet together?
With clickbait. Well, what happens there is like Brandon, I believe, and Five had the original idea. So Brandon came up to me and said, like, hey, you want to join me, Tom, and Five in the podcast? I'm like, hell yeah, let's go do it. And then we do this one random test, and then Scooter wants in. So Scooter is the lightning rod of the group. He's always talking about the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, the thing is, like, it's not even an act. He's like that in the green room too. It's like, you guys serious? You don't like the Dallas Cowboys this year? Like he's dead serious about it. And what it leads to is the greatest day. It's just us dunking on Scooter when we lose in the playoffs. For example, when you guys did the wonderful deed in January. But I mean, the thing there, I mean, summertime's a little quiet because like we just all have a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
I mean, with last week I think all of us actually had to call out because I was in Latrobe. I think like Brandon was out doing things, Five at a baseball game. Scooter was doing some work around his house, and Tom, I think, had to officiate a wedding in Baltimore. So none of us were available. That's why we did the chairs, just like to start out yesterday.
Yeah, I love the one that you guys all trash Scooter.
I mean, dude, the thing is, like, he has it coming too, because what you have to understand is he just endlessly talks about the Dallas Cowboys. And I mean, they've been laughter this offseason too about all in, yet you have issues like you may have a holdout with CeeDee Lamb, you may have a holdout with Micah Parsons, and Dak Prescott's probably gone. Because, I mean, are you going to pay him $60 million a year? That's what it's going to take.
Yeah, that is what's going to take. But, the Cowboys have no options.
Yeah, but I mean, Jerry Jones loves his stars. I mean, look at what happened in 2020 when Dak Prescott had another issue. He had a major ankle injury. And when that happened, they had like their quarterback situation was terrible. Like they were like Andy Dalton didn't do well. They were down to Ben DiNucci and Garrett Gilbert. And they realized there it's like Jerry Jones blamed Ben DiNucci for it. And it's like, yeah, Ben DiNucci is not a good quarterback. And it's like, Jerry, you created the situation, buddy. Have fun with that. And then he feels bad, and it's like Dak's just sitting there. It's like, okay, open the vault, write me whatever I want. That's pretty much what it came down to.
Yeah, but now they're screwed.
Yeah, it's a good kind of screwed because, as I said, nobody feels bad because the all-in thing.
So, besides Scooter, who do you like to trash talk on the pen?
Ooh, I mean, it depends on like what's going on. I mean, I love trashing Five, especially on Dumpster Fire. I mean, especially like with certain things he's said in the past. But I mean, Tom sometimes, like if I'm playing the Packers and we win, Brandon's probably going to be kind of a trash talk this year because Steelers and Broncos play week 2. So there's going to be a lot of fighting there, especially with Denver, the copium starting to come up a little bit, especially with like, oh, you know what? Bo Nix and Zach Wilson, they may be good this year. Hold on. We might be good. Like, nope. You lost a lot of pieces. You're gonna be bad this year, buddy.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit on his interview,
Mm-hmm.
and he has big hopes this year.
Big hopes. Oh, jeez. Uh-oh.
He believes in Bo Nix so much.
Bo Nix.
I'm like,
Bo Nix, I feel like Bo Nix is like 30. He's been in college forever.
yeah. At least it's not the Falcons taking Michael
Penix. I mean, that's still that was shocking.
That was just mind blowing.
I mean, well, because they needed edge and they had a couple of them like just sitting right there. But I mean, they went for the backup option for Kirk Cousins. I mean, so don't get me wrong. I like Michael Penix. I liked him in college, but nowhere near that high.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be a late first rounder.
Oh, I thought he was an early second rounder.
I mean, that too. Like, I mean, Knicks had to get reached because of that too. I mean, Jake McCarthy JJ McCarthy, he just went like way too high too. I'm just sitting there like he went from an early to mid second to like a potential top pick. Yeah, and he just like he was a game manager in college, so his floor's at least high, but I don't know what his ceiling is.
I like that as a Packers fan because he might be.
You think he's going to be Christian Ponder? Oh,
don't get me started. Me and Todd, we were just ranting about how the Vikings are so stupid.
Hey. Well, I mean, I think it's just like everyone's just pissed at you because you have another quarterback that may be a franchise quarterback after like losing. It's like, oh, the Packers might be bad. And then Jordan Love just breaks out like, nope.
Yeah.
Like, great.
Jordan Love's breakout game was against the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. I know like when he played Pittsburgh, he wasn't like, he was
he wasn't that bad.
I mean, he had his moments, but it was just like it wasn't like his second half.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know what clicked, but something clicked inside him, and it just took off.
Sometimes it takes time and be able to understand the game, and it slows down for certain people. It happens. It takes time.
And I loved it when I saw Scooter really, really, really hurting after that game.
Mm-hmm.
And like the last question I had is, what would you tell the younger generation that are trying to do what we are doing
with YouTube? Well, I think the thing is with like the younger people, like I feel like you need to get life experience before you really start doing this, I would say, because like you need like something to ground you. I think the thing I've noticed too, it's that like if you are young, you're more inclined to soar less. If you get success, it starts to get to your head. Because at the end of the day, you don't have that sort of like backing of like that struggle or that understanding of like, okay, I had to grind in restaurant industry for 8 years. So like I have to appreciate everything I can. Because like, especially with like, I mean, power and ego, they come a long way. I mean, look at what's happening with Mr. Beast right now and like what's going on with his empire. I mean, there are a couple other things as well that happen too. I mean, I see it like I've seen it happen repeatedly in my time. It's just power and ego. I mean, Dr. Disrespect too. Like, I mean, you think like you're invincible and then you just take more risks and now you're doing your grooming or whatever you want to do. And then it's just like the credibility goes to shit. And I think that's more or less what you think the need is. But I think the thing is, like, if you're starting out, don't focus on the numbers, don't focus on the views, don't focus on any of the outside noise. Ask yourself a few questions. Am I doing the best I can do? Is there anything I can do to improve? And always strive to experiment and stay hungry with your content. That's my recommendation to everyone. I know YouTube is it's a very unforgiving game. It's more or less you pump it out and you hope and you pray, and sometimes luck happens, but otherwise, I mean, most of the time you're just doing it for fun. So at the same time, it just more or less, it's just honestly just have some fun out there. That's all I can say.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for the interview. It was great talking to you.
Thank you for having me on, brother. Hopefully we can do this again sometime.
But my goal is to get every single member of Clickbait interview and make one whole video with all you guys together.
Absolutely, man. I know you're interviewing 5 soon too. I know he mentioned that as well.
But the only guy that I cannot reach is
Scooter Magruder? Yep. I'll see if I can do something to reach out to you for him, man. So, yeah.
Because I sent him a DM on Instagram, but I haven't heard anything back from him yet. So
I think the thing with Scooter is that, like, he just has so many DMs that it's hard for him to, like, get stuff. So I think that's the thing. So I'll see if I can, like, talk to him and, like,
that'd be great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man.
I really had fun with you today.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me on, brother.
No problem. It's an honor to have you on.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man.
I hope we can do it again.
Absolutely, man.
And maybe we can do a live stream of a game together sometime.
Maybe, man. I mean, I have to see if the Steelers and Packers are coming on sometime, but I know, like, it mostly depends on my schedule because, like, in the fall, I'm pretty busy and I'm doing my own streams for Steelers games. So I may be able to stop on for a little bit, but yeah.
But I just want to thank you so much for your time.
Dude, thank you, brother.
And thank you so much. And we're going to end it right here.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother.
See you later.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.